A while ago, a friend of mine sent me this question. He said, why would God allow a young mother to die and leave her husband with 4 children, all under the age of 14? In other words, why does God allow bad things to happen? This is what we're going to talk about today. Let's get in the Word. All right, so I'm sure you've asked yourself this question at least one time in your life. I also have asked myself the question, why does God allow bad things to happen? So I decided to ask him. I was like, hey, Seuss, here's the deal. You have people on this earth living who we call ourselves Christians and we believe in you, but on a regular basis, we have bad things happening to us. So what's the deal, bruh? And God answered in a way that I wasn't expecting. You see, he answered me by giving me a very interesting lesson. So as we're having our conversation, he said, Tiff, this is what I need you to understand. You see, there are 3 parties involved in this situation. I said, okay, explain what you mean. He said, okay, the first party or individual is me, God. I said, okay, I get that. It's you. He said, but there are 3 things about me that you must understand. I said, okay, please tell me what those 3 things are. He said, first, I am love. I said, all right, 1 John 4 verse 8 says God is love, meaning that you take care of others, that you put others before yourself. So, okay, you love, you are love. He said, correct. He said, number 2, I cannot lie. I said, okay. He said, Tiff, no, you don't understand the magnitude of that statement. Everything that I say is true, and I have never and will never lie to you. I said, okay, cool. I said, well, what's number 3? He said, well, number 3 is I am your protector. I said, okay. He said, no matter where you go or what you do, I will be with you. I will be beside you. You can be strong and courageous because of that fact. I said, okay, God, I get it. So 3 things about you. First, you are love. Second, you cannot lie. And third, you are my protector. He said, exactly. I said, okay, who's the second party in this whole situation? He said, actually, you are. I said, me? He said, yeah, well, human beings. I said, okay, well, is there something I need to know about human beings? He said, actually, yes, there are 3 things you need to understand about human beings. He said, first, you are my daughter. Human beings are sons and daughters of me, of God. I said, okay, all right. I said, well, what's number 2? So number 2 is you are my workmanship. I said, okay, God, this one I totally understand because I'm an artist and I love to draw and paint. And I know the feeling when you create something. So what you're saying is, God, that we human beings are your workmanship. So you feel that kind of connection and love for us because we were created by you. He said, exactly. I said, okay, well, what's number 3? He said, well, number 3 is you are my people. I said, okay. He said, all right. So again, first, sons and daughters of God. Second, we are your workmanship. And third, we are your people. He said, exactly. Okay, God. So then who's the third party in this situation? Who's the third individual? He said, well, the third party or individual is Satan, also known as the devil. I said, okay. So are there 3 characteristics about him that I should also understand? He said, yes. He said, the first thing you must understand is that he is a murderer and a liar. I said, okay. He said, now remember, Tiff, I told you as God, I cannot lie, but the devil cannot tell the truth. Everything he says is a lie. I said, okay. All right. What's number 2, God? He said, the second thing is he is an attacker. I said, okay. All right. So he's an attacker. And what's the third thing? He said, Tiff, the third thing is the devil is your adversary. I said, okay. So God, again, the 3 parties in this situation are you as God, me representing human beings, and then third, the devil or Satan. He said, exactly. I said, okay, God, but there's something that I want to ask a question about. I do see these 3 parts being involved, but you said that you are our protector and that the devil is the attacker and adversary, right? I said, yes, I did say that. I said, but God, the problem is I feel like you're here, I'm in the middle, and the devil's right here, attacking me over and over and over and over again. But I don't feel your protection, which is again why I'm asking, Lord, why do you allow bad things to happen? Then God answered. He said, Tiff, here's the deal. Even though it feels like I'm here, you're in the middle, and the devil is here, the truth is you are on the outside. I'm in between you and Satan. And he is trying to attack you in so many ways, but I'm blocking his attacks. I am protecting you. I said, okay, God, I do appreciate your protection, but that doesn't take away from the fact that people die, people get hurt, family and friends get diseases, tests are failed, jobs are lost. There are still bad things that are happening. So even though you said you're in the middle protecting, I'm still getting hit left and right. So why are you allowing those things to happen? Then God said, there's one more thing that I had to tell you. What do you mean, God? He said, you see, there's a fourth thing that you must know about yourself. I said, what do you mean, God? He said, I want you to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 20. I said, okay, God. So I took out my Bible. I said, okay, 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 20. He said, I want you to read it. So I looked and I read it. It says, now then we are ambassadors for Christ. He said, you know what, Tiff? The fact is, you are not just my daughter, not just my workmanship, and not just my people. You are also my ambassador. So I said, okay, God, can you explain that a little bit more? He said, Tiff, I want you to think about the story of Job. Remember, with Job, it all started with the devil approaching me. He said, the devil told me that there were no faithful ones left on the earth. There was no one on earth that still loved me and respected me and worshiped me. And I told the devil, there's one, and his name is Job, and he is faithful. He will remain faithful and trust in me. He will be my ambassador. And what happened? You see, the devil attacked Job, but remember, he wanted to do more, but I protected. Like I told you, I am a protector. I protected Job from the other attacks, but there were a few attacks that I let through. Why? Because I knew Job was my ambassador and that he would remain faithful and that he would trust me even though bad things were happening. But remember, Tiff, I was still watching over Job that entire time. And the same is true for you. When bad things do happen, it is only because I have allowed the devil to send something your way so that he can see as well that you are my ambassador. I know that your faith is strong enough to get through these situations. Now, friend, after God and I had this talk and I realized what's actually going on and where God is when bad things happen and why he allows them to happen, my love for him grew even stronger. You see, my friend that asked me this question, I hope you're watching this video as well. I hope that you also understand what God was trying to tell to me. The bad thing that happened of one dad being left with 4 young children after his wife passed away is a prime example of God knowing that that man, that father, was his ambassador. And even those children were God's ambassadors and are still God's ambassadors because God saw that those individuals were strong enough to make it through that bad situation that the devil put on them. God knows what we can take, and he knows his faithful ambassadors. So today, I hope this helped you guys to realize that bad things only happen because the devil attacks God's ambassadors. Let's continue being ambassadors for Christ and trusting in his word. Until next time, let's stay in the word.